Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Teri. My channel is called Holding Your Space. It's a space for meditation and for people to come and take care of each other, hold space for each other in the mornings. We meditate Monday through Friday mornings, 8:11 Central. Um, Today, what I wanted to do is talk about the future as I see it in the next 6 months. At the beginning of this year, I did 6 months, and 6 months was a lot because the energy was nuts. And I thought it might calm down a bit, but I don't think it has. So it's still kind of crazy on the planet, isn't it? And that's okay because I think we're getting used to it, but just acknowledging it and your energy and how you feel every day and coming to a space inside yourself every day where you can watch it happen. It's called witnessing awareness. So, really an important thing of how we watch things happen. Do we get attached to the outcome? It's hard not to, right? Because a lot of our loved ones are involved in it as well, our families, our friends, people we care about. Or perhaps you're alone because of what's going on the planet, because of dissolution in your family or friendships. So, just witnessing things as they happen. I feel like YouTube has been a community space for so many of us, and so many of us have met online in other ways. So, I'm actually doing this because I do a Read the Future with a woman called Jean Mayall. She is an intuitive on the East Coast of the United States, and we have an international group that meets quite a few times a year to do this, to read the future. And while my channel is not about politics, this is a little bit of politics in here, not much, but a little bit. So, anyway, I'm going to start out by reading a message to humanity from Spirit. So, yeah, let's start with that. So, first thing they wanted me to tell you today in particular is that you are dearly loved. I work a lot with the inner earth and the universal energy. So, inner earth energy is amazing. What's going on down there? I'll do another show on that pretty soon. But the things that are happening in the universe as well, we work with the grid, and the grid is the light body of the planet. And that is what will be fifth and sixth density, even into seventh density with that light grid. So it's kind of like right now we're living in a matrix, right? And things are going to start falling apart. In fact, I had a dream last night that a hexagon fell from the sky from the light grid, and then it's all starting to kind of open up, and we're starting to see things as they truly are. Like maybe seeing some of the politicians right now as agents of change, seeing some of the people in uh, finance and business, some of the trillionaires and billionaires as agents of change. So just watching that because there's lots of changes going on the planet. But knowing that you're loved, in fact, before I started this, I looked outside and there was a cardinal outside, and cardinals always bring in my late husband. So, and my grandma. So I always know that they're around, and just knowing that the world watches, the universe watches. You are doing an amazing job, and you are loved just the way you are, without being judged. So let me go into this message from Spirit. On this day we rest. Watch and be aware. What you have done until now has brought you to a state of awareness and awakening. There is little need to do but to watch and send light. The light workers have woven a tapestry unfolding into changes and dimensional disruption. So, weaving that light, like the grandmothers, right, in the old stories of the indigenous, the weavers, the spider women, as they weave the light. And I see that a lot. Like we're weaving not only the light grids, but the grid that go around the planet with the ley lines, but we're also weaving the tapestry of the new world that we're going into as we move into the age of Aquarius and out of the Kali Yuga. Okay, you're needed to hold the space to solidify the awakening. Others will fight, disrupt, and create turbulence. There is no need for this, or there is a need for this so they can see the way forward. Be sympathetic and compassionate. Watch how you hold the light that you may shine for others. So sometimes people ask, like, why am I here? And that's one of the best soul questions you can ask, right? Like, who am I? Why am I here? Um, well, sometimes we're just here to hold the light for others, to hold space for others, and to shine, because it does make a difference when people walk by you. They know your energy pattern, and it calms people down. It's a really important thing. You might think it's no big deal, but it's huge. So July 2025, Bitcoin makes history. I do think that cryptocurrency is a thing to come. I don't know which cryptocurrency it's going to be and which one's going to fall away. So it's a volatile situation. I know a lot of people don't like it. I'm waiting and watching to see which one I buy. I don't see the USD doing well going forward. Not that it's going to be reflective of the government, perhaps. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't care. Or I do care, but I don't know. But I do see that we're going to go evolve into this cryptocurrency. It might be a blockchain too. I don't know much about it. So I'm watching it like you. Bezos' wedding creates disharmony. His brand is tarnished. So Jeff Bezos is getting married this week. Today is June 28th. And I think he gets married either today or tomorrow or sometime this week. I think he's spending 66 million. So probably, let's say it's going to be about 100 million, right? Um, so kind of crazy, right? When there's so many people without homes, without anything to eat, or living without insurance, good health care. So just watching this happen, that we have the disparity of incomes that we do right now, that our children are looking around at work and thinking, I'll never be able to afford a house. I'll never be able to do this or do that. That was so easily done for my parents and my grandparents. And it's a difference. It's a big change for them. So they're not interested in working 9 to 5. Many of them, they just want to travel. They have gig jobs. They work when they can, and they get enough money so they can have the next experience. I have family in Europe, and they're kind of interesting over there. Like, they've been in the feudal system for thousands and thousands of years, right? So they don't really care what the government wants or what the king wants or the queen. They're more interested in their next holiday, and they kind of work to live. So it's a different mentality than the USA and that Yankee thing going on, right? Like ingenuity. So not that there's anything wrong with that. It's a beautiful thing, and it got us where we are. But can't we just have a good time? Can't we just go on vacation and take good care of ourselves instead of working all these hours just to be able to get by? So, and then looking at getting by, what does that look like to you? Does that look like, 2 cars and a house, or is it um, going into nature and doing something beautiful in a cabin? I mean, it's different for everybody, and it should be like that. Okay, I digress. Elon comes onto something new. He will come out ahead of the turmoil he created. So I know he's an agent of change. He's not everybody's favorite right now. He's done a lot of stuff and really upset a lot of people and hurt a lot of people. I do think that what he's got planned for the robots and whatnot, he's still an agent of change. He can swing this around and make this something amazing for people. I do feel like also Elon left a backdoor insurance policy. He might not be as bad as we feared. So we might make out here still between he and the president. So just watching and seeing what he's going to do. I think he might come out to be okay. All right, new waters are made. Water, water, water. There's a lot going on with water around the planet. So just understanding there's going to be a lot of storms. I do see some tsunamis coming this year and next year. Um, and the storms are coming, um, and it's going to change the coastline. And it's not just that, it's also the Arctic shelf. So I don't know if it's going to be this year or next year that we're going to have issues with that Arctic shelf, but I do feel like all our coastlines are going to change. So just be aware. A lot of this stuff you can watch and prepare for. And if you need to move, start moving inland or wherever it works for you. But just watch it. And again, this is all energy and motion. This can all change. Storms come early. The Carolinas have flooding again. So God bless the Carolinas. Such a beautiful area. Um, Earthquakes in Europe and the Americas, volcanic activity globally, big fat babies crying. The old guard in politics have a meltdown. So that big fat babies, that's kind of how I see the old patriarchal politicians, be they women or men. A lot of them are very involved with business. So, they're rich. They're all rich. And they make these choices for us thinking that we're just little people. A lot of them, the mentality that, well, they don't need insurance. They don't need a 2-week vacation, which, in Europe, you'd be getting a month vacation or more. So, living to work instead of working to live. Big difference there. August 2025. Fat cats at play. Someone is caught by a mouse. I feel like somebody's going to squeal on these guys and gals. So the groups. Um, Expose on corruption in politics and business makes the news. So I think somebody's going to be writing about this too. There's going to be a lot of information coming out about our politicians. And this is going to be coming out over the next 2 years at least, that how they're tied to religion, how they're tied to politics, is tied to business, is tied to a feudal society. And everybody talks about, oh, there's all these conspiracy theories. Well, I don't know. I feel like there are people that are behind some of the governments. And did one side know better than the other side, or did they both know? So, you know, we've only got two parties in the United States, and I think there's three or four even in UK. And I don't, what are there, three in Canada? And I don't even know about Mexico. Anyway, doesn't matter. But just watching it, I feel like things are really going to change there, and a lot of this is going to be our youth coming in and making the changes. So they're not going to put up with it. They don't want to live like this, and they're like, "Nuh-uh, not me." Okay, sorrow in the White House. Oh, this is August. Sorrow in the White House. A prominent figure is sick, very sick. And someone is laying in state in the rotunda. So I feel like somebody passes. It's pretty important. Funeral at Kensington Palace. William and Kate make changes. This funeral at Kensington Palace. I don't really read on death, but I will read on that there's a transition. So not naming names. Travis and Taylor make engagement plans. I do read on Travis and Taylor because I feel like they have love and they're showing their love for the world and they're showing it in a really healthy way. So I feel the same about Kate and William. I don't know all the backstories, but what I see, I like. September 2025. Coronation in UK. I don't know what that's about, but that's what I see. A dark shadow hangs over the White House. Farmers come to Washington. I don't think they're happy. Pigs in the news. Something's happening with the pork industry. A dog, a cat, and a rabbit in the news. There's this lovely woman. I think her name is Barbara Cannon. I believe she's from the UK. Amazing. She's on Amelia's channel this week, and she's also on, I think, or last week, and I think she's on Next Level Soul this week. But She talks about how in Atlantis, uh, all households had a cat who was the guardian, a dog that was the companion, and a rabbit for love. And then I love that. And she said that the children would go to school with the dog as a companion. And it was a different type of school. It was like, school for really what you're interested in. And our education system is just a mess, right? And I have a lot of friends that are teachers, and I love you guys. And they're the ones that tell me about it. So I know that it's crazy the way that we are doing it right now. We've got some good ideas with Waldorf and other things, and Montessori. So hopefully we can go more in that direction. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I do want to mention also that this is very interesting that our friend at the channel, Dr. Gail, with Skywalking with Moon, she's a galactic healer and really incredible woman. When she travels with a dog, a cat, and a rabbit. Interesting. Okay. There is a blockbuster movie released on the small screen. Um, this is also for October, you guys. Um, so, we can film anything we want, right, on a very small screen. So just acknowledging that. The California coast is changing. It looks different. Like I said, I do see our coastlines changing, Florida changing, the Delta. Um, okay, the tides of March and October. So I don't know what that means, but we'll see. And a storm in the Gulf swallows the Delta. So big storms coming in. Um, and be careful, you guys. Watch, make sure you know where you're going and have a plan. November 2025. Taylor has a new hit LP. Can a girl get what she wants? So I feel like, she's always got a pretty powerful message. But I feel like this time she's really standing in her power with it. So really impressive and really expressing her love. There are black spaces in Washington. I see dark forms with nothing there. I don't know if it's recalls or absences or if there's even another pandemic, but I see that people aren't there. And there are some people, but it's like a skeleton crew. So, sometimes when I see those dark spaces, it could be that people have passed. It could be that people have been taken out too. Like perhaps there was a big change in the government, or they found out that somebody was, could have something to do with that expose. Quiet at roll call in Congress. Holiday shopping is bad. People are upset with the government. Weather patterns changing, and the Arctic shelf is in the news. So I know we're all watching that Arctic shelf, and scientists have been talking about it for a long time. And I think they're really worried about the polar bears. Of course, that's my dog telling us, yeah, we're worried about them. And so just lots of prayers to tectonic plates and the Arctic shelves. So I know when that happens, it will change the world as we know it in our geography. Okay. December 2025. How old are you? New discoveries, inventions help with aging. There's a lot of anti-aging things coming out right now, right? And it's not all topical. Like a lot of it's for our health and our wellness. Not anti-aging, but reverse aging, I think is what they're calling it. So just recognizing, I take some things that I get and some supplements, and they say that you have zombie cells inside you, cells that we don't use that we can activate. And it changes the way we look, the way we feel. And I just know that when I take them, I only take 3 once a week. It changes my energy level. Okay. Old dogs lay down, changes in governments globally. So That's what we need, right? It's not just the US, it's all over. The old dog's got to go. Italy has volcanic activity. Christmas is quiet. I see a brass band marching to very few there to watch. This could be the Macy's parade. So I just saw that a band is playing and there's not very many people there to watch it. So I don't know if it's going to be too cold out or if people aren't celebrating for a reason. And then I saw ski lifts that were shaking with people on them. So I don't know if that's a windstorm that comes up or a blizzard or if that's an earthquake, but I do see them shaking. Heavy rains and flooding in the US and Australia, and this is for December 2025. New Zealand in the news, billionaire colonies. So the billionaires are building bunkers. Like, I think they are getting a little worried about having too much money, perhaps. So anyway, where else could you go, right? New Zealand. Auckland has building changes and new laws. Spain is dancing. Interesting. I like that. January 2026. Whiteout. All is quiet. Make sure you have provisions. A whiteout can be a blizzard, and it can also be a whiteout with the grid that things go down in different places. So just make sure that you're prepared. Have a little bit of something. Children making snow people. Rainbow snow people. I love that. Um, Bitcoin running away, little doggy. Running away, little doggy. So when they said little doggy, I imagined that they meant Dogecoin. It's Elon Musk's coin that he has, and Bitcoin in the news. Religious leaders in big trouble. People are leaving. I do feel like people are going to be turning away from religion, especially when some of these exposés come out about how they're tied to business and money. Pope in the news. He is changing faster than planned. Many right-wing Catholics are upset. I wasn't so sure about this guy, but the more I go into his energy, I feel like he's going to change things. He's going to revolutionize things. And I do see women on the pulpit. I do see women giving communion. I think we're already doing that, aren't we? But I do see things happening there that are going to be good, because the more women we get in power, women don't want to send their children to war. I mean, most men don't either, right? But these guys in Congress, like, who is it to say that we have to go to war, that that person has to kill that person so that we can have 5 more feet or that we can have more oil? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. So, you know, once things change, um, I feel like we're no longer going to be under people's thumb to say, you have to work, you have to do this, you have to do that. And people be free to choose what they really want to do and live, right? Live a life well lived. And our grandparents, our parents, and us, me, we had nice jobs and we had enough money to save and buy a house and cars and go on some trips, have a good life. But these kids are looking at it right now and they're saying, I can't do that. And maybe that's not what I want anyway. They don't really want to buy a house, a lot of them. They're more interested in opportunities for travel and experiences. Okay. Um, Nuns in the news, Catholic charities in the news globally for disaster relief. I feel like they're going to be needed and they're going to show up. Okay, fires in New York and the Hudson Bay is in the news. I do see something coming up later in 2026 too in New York, Lady Liberty, and the Eiffel Tower. So something between France and the US again happening. Something good, I think, but that we're helping each other, which is quite interesting, isn't it? Because we help each other with our revolutions. So anyway, we can't discount that. I don't know if I mentioned this, but When they were showing me that hexagon that fell out of the sky, out of the grid, out of the matrix, they were also talking about 3 days of darkness. And that's my dog, Truman, or Tyler. So the 3 days of darkness, I just was never a big fan of. Not that anybody was, but I really felt like if that's what you think is going to happen, then that is what will happen. That's the likelihood of it. I do feel like those 3 days of darkness, maybe. I mean, they did show me some darkness and to tell people to get ready. So, like I said, again, make sure that you have some provisions. You've got a few things. And look for that hexagon image. We are doing a lot of coding with the matrix. So we're coding our geome, where we connect to our lineage, our ancestors. We're recoding our Akashic records, our past and future selves. And that's another thing that we work with is working with your past self and your past life self, right? That little Teri that she may have disassociated because somebody said, "Oh, don't smile so much. Don't be so happy. Don't, talk so loudly." And then future Teri coming in, your future self. And we know that there is no time or space, so you can call on your future self to come in and help you through a time that you need help. And just like you can call on your ancestors and your angels, you can also call on your future selves and your descendants. Don't forget about your descendants. So, if we can call on our ancestors, we can call on our descendants. If we can call on our past lives for to witness that and to gain knowledge from it, wisdom, we can call on our future selves as well to come back and help us. So, just be very aware of that. You're never alone. You're always surrounded. My good friend, Reverend George Saul, a crystal shaman, he was on the channel quite a bit, and before he walked off the planet, and he always said to call in 33 trillion angels. So I do that daily, call in my 33 trillion angels, and it does make a difference. I always feel like I'm connected and held. So, holding space for you and hope you have a great week. Please like and subscribe and come by Monday through Friday at 11 Central AM for meditations. We'll see you later. Bye bye.